know what? Thank you so much for tuning in to the Victor Brooks Show today. And this beautiful lady you see right here on screen is none other than one of the queens of soul music, Miss Wanda Vaughn. Wanda
Oh,
Vaughn, thank you so
Vic.
much.
Oh, you're so welcome. You look great.
And you do too. Thank
Thank
you. And you know what?
you.
I have to say, wherever I've lived, I've always had an inspiration corner in one of my rooms. And
Yeah.
this room right here, this picture hanging
Oh,
here
oh
of
my
Watt
gosh.
Stacks.
Yes, that is what stacks. Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
we got Marvin and so many others, but this picture is the biggest because that picture and that movie and that time
Oh,
was
yes.
such an inspiration to me, and I know millions of others,
Oh,
and
wonderful.
especially the people watching today. And God, Wanda, this is such an honor. Thank
Oh,
you
thank you, Vic.
so much.
I love this. This is wonderful. I can't see you. They had to cancel a few shows, in the
Yeah,
last for the next month, and
right.
just want to say hi to everybody. We'll be back.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I know. You guys were in Baltimore recently, or DC, I think.
Baltimore and
Baltimore.
DC. Hmm.
Yep. And Baltimore is where I was born, and I got so many
Oh,
calls. They said the show was fantastic.
oh, thank you.
Yeah, so
Thank you
many
so
calls.
much. I enjoyed it so much. I never knew I would be on stage with my daughters
Oh
in
yeah,
this time and
yeah.
having that much fun.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And you know what? Wanda, today I just want to, and the text and everything, they're all starting to come in already.
Oh,
And it's showing the love and
oh,
the
thank
respect they have
you.
for you and your career and the emotions, your sister.
Hmm.
Would you mind if we just start at the beginning? I'd
At
love
the
to start
beginning,
at the beginning, and I'm just going to
let's
say
see.
sunbeams,
Oh,
Chicago. Tell
the
me about the
sunbeams,
sunbeams.
the Hutchison sunbeams. Well, people would always ask about our harmony and how do you guys get that harmony like that? And Daddy taught us to sing that
Come
way. And the harmonies that we have ever since we were the Hutchison Sunbeams and
on.
singing on Jubilee Showcase in Chicago.
Okay,
And we had a church that we all went to, the church next door. My father was choir director,
look at that.
and he would also arrange their harmonies and like he gave us. But
Hmm.
the ones that you hear, like on "So I Can Love You,"
Yep.
yeah.
Right.
Every time one would say, yeah, the other would say, yeah.
Come
Contrary motion,
come on.
and that's something that a lot of
That's
musicians know. It's a
right.
boost. It's like an inspirational sound,
And that is
and
that's been a staple in that
mhm,
emotions sound, because the
yes.
emotions, you have your own sound, your own
Oh
dynamic,
yes, yes.
and so that's where that
Okay.
came from.
That's exactly where it came
Okay.
from. And we
Okay.
would sing a song which they call the theme song. If most gospel people know that. And my father had a group back in the day called the Wings of Heaven
Okay.
in Chicago. And they would sing, call him up and tell him what you
What
want.
you want.
Jesus is on the main line.
Main line. Uh-huh.
Call him up. And
Right.
that was our theme song when we would come on in the pulpit. And we would sing every second Sunday at
Okay.
Mahalia Jackson's church
Come
in
on now.
Chicago. Yeah,
Come
which was really something because
on.
we were so young. And then to know who she really was, of course,
Right.
after I grew up, I really got to know who she was.
Right.
And she would tell my father, she says, them girls, she said, you must have them working overtime to get that harmony like that. And, and dad was singing with us at that time. So
Yeah.
it was always four-part harmony.
Uh-huh.
And, but anyway, we would do all those songs. We had a repertoire of 99 songs when I was
Woo!
11 years old.
Look at
And
that.
oh yeah, and gospel, a lot of them.
Mm.
And then as the emotions progress, most
Okay.
of the songs we wrote in the beginning, So I Can Love You,
Yeah.
Sheila wrote, which
Okay.
was our first song on Stax Records
That's right. Well.
with Isaac Hayes.
Uh-huh.
And how he found us was the Staple Singers, who also lived in Chicago,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Mavis. We would always go to church
Oh,
with them, and we'd be
I,
on. I was going to say shows, but that's not.
I got you
We'd
though.
be in
I
the
got. Yeah.
congregation, and then they
Right. Right.
call us up. And Purvis Staples was our manager at
Okay.
that time, and of course. the Staple Singers was with Stax Records.
Look at that.
And that was the hookup how we got to Isaac Hayes because
Okay.
he produced Mavis and them.
And
And
you're so when you say like Stax Records, that was like the late '60s when you
1969,
'69.
68.
Okay,
Hmm.
so that's the Isaac Hayes, David Porter
Right.
era.
Isaac
Yeah.
Hayes, David Porter was our
Come on
producer.
now. And out of
Yeah.
that, like you said, that was the album "So I Can Love You."
So I Can Love You, Show
Right.
Me How.
Show
That
me.
was the second one.
That's it.
Yes. And
Okay.
at that time, they didn't want to produce an album on a
Hmm.
girl group that was not even just barely teenagers because they thought maybe
Really.
we'd run off and get pregnant and then they'd be
Okay.
left
Oh,
with no group.
okay.
So they would just do 45s on us. And
Okay.
we would be there looking at Johnny Taylor when he was putting down, you got your girl and gone. You remember all
Oh,
those?
that's
We
right.
would be in there looking at him and looking at the Shaft guys. Who was the band that did Shaft?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Isaac
looking at
Hayes.
all them.
Yeah.
And Isaac Hayes,
That's
he
right.
was a wonderful like music guy and
Oh, music.
melodic
Yeah.
guy. But when he would go in and teach have the strings that played whatever,
Yeah.
he would sing it to them. He didn't write it out. But
Really.
he played piano, of course.
Right.
And
Right.
so he would sing them the parts that he wanted him to do, like on "Show Me How," in
Uh-huh.
the beginning. "Doo, doo,
Right.
doo, ting,
Uh-huh.
ting, 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 ting." All the little strings would come in.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
wow, that's something. But the music was being written as he was giving it to them by
Look at.
Rufus Thomas' son. Uh, uh,
Okay.
what was his
Okay.
name? The funky chicken guy.
Gotcha. Right. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
But anyway,
Also at Watt Stacks. That's right.
also at Watt Stacks, yes. And then, how that came about. The Watt
Yeah.
Stacks,
Uh,
they filmed that at then it was the Rams or the Raiders Stadium in
that's right. Uh-huh.
Exhibition, maybe part. I
Yeah.
don't know if it was called that then, but
Uh-huh.
I remember, and probably people saw it when they were trying to keep you off the field from dancing and so
Mm-hmm.
forth. But we were in the dressing or the locker rooms at that time and changing to go
Yeah.
into our uniforms. And then these guys came back there with some long beards. We didn't know who they were, and they said
Okay.
they were ZZ Top
Come on
and
now.
how much they liked the emotions. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
oh wow.
Oh, come on. It's
I,
undeniable,
I mean,
undeniable.
I knew who they were. I mean, I've heard
Right,
them,
right.
but
But then just to come in like
for
that
them to
right
come to
before
the concert, yeah.
because
But
some
anyway,
of the numbers because on I know some of the listeners are chart lovers. They love to know
yes,
those charts. So I'm
yes.
looking at and please correct me if my homework isn't right, sis.
Okay.
When we have number 40, "So I Can Love You," number 43 on Billboard Top
Billboard.
R&B. Then the
Yes.
title track took number 3 and number 39
Oh my
on that
God.
during that
That's
time
right.
on
That's
Hot
right.
100 R&B.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we move to "The Best of My Love," number 27, right, on Hot
Yes,
R&B.
that's what it
So
was.
recording at Stax, would you say that
Yeah,
that was like the emotions foundational of the whole music industry, recording,
it was.
writing?
It
What was
was.
that education
And
like?
the fact that they were so involved with how we like to, because they saw how Dad was an intricate part
Look
of
at
our music, and
mm,
if we liked it, then they loved it. It was like on
mm-hmm.
Blind
This.
Alley, and then later on, so many Cool Mo D,
Uh-huh.
the other guys, so
You mean like ones that sampled a
they
lot?
sampled
That's right.
Blind Alley, and we didn't
Another
really
tribute.
know.
That's right.
Yes, that
That's
was the tribute. You're right. That
right.
really was. And but it was so nice. And working there at Stax, we learned Marvell Thomas. I wanted to get
There
his
you
name.
go,
Carla
Mark.
Thomas's brother.
That's
And
right.
you remember Carla G Wiz.
Oh
Uh-huh.
yeah. Well,
And we
Memphis is my home. That's
that's
my home of
right.
claim. We had our church in Orange Mound, and
Yeah.
hey, Memphis folks, shout out 2999 Barry Avenue.
Memphis.
At the Life Church. Then we went to Longview Heights on Mallory.
Oh
But
my
that
God.
whole growing up in Memphis, the
Yes.
emotions were and
Mm.
still are growing up, they were our soul queens. I
Yes.
mean,
Yes.
that gave us a sense of pride back home. And I promise,
Yeah.
I may cry. Victor cry in a minute, but it
Oh
was a
my
sense of
baby.
all of us that grew up saying, you know what?
Yeah. Yes,
this is what it's about. This is that
it
Memphis
is.
sound, but now it's the world
Mm-hmm.
sound thanks to the
Yes.
emotions.
Yes, and that's why they call it soul music, you
Come
know.
on now.
I know it's R&B and soul, but it's called soul music because it reaches every nationality, no
Yes.
matter where you're from, where you grew
Hmm.
up, you
Hmm.
know, soul to soul, just like the food, soul food. You're going to like it whether you black, white, Mexican.
You're going to get it and you're
You're
going
going
to
to eat some
feel
greens and
good.
cornbread. You know? So we was the greens and cornbread for the female
There you
group.
go.
You
That's
know?
right.
Well, you know, we had a lot of good uh,
And you know
talent,
what?
you know, in Chicago.
When
Hmm.
you mention Watt Stax, sis,
Yes.
I believe that was around 1973
Yes.
that you
That's
did Watt
right.
Stax. And now, those of us who love that classic piece, thank God for Al Bell and the rest of the people who
Yes.
put this
Yes.
together. The Peace Be Still clip,
Oh,
the
that's
song Peace Be
right.
Still on the soundtrack of
Oh
You,
my
and
God.
your sister singing that church, oh my
Yes.
God, it gave such a
Yes.
realness.
And we sang it like in Watts, like down the street from where my mother-in-law lives,
Got
you
you.
know, and it was right there. And who is that? James Cleveland, right?
James Cleveland, that's
That
right.
did that. And boy, that Peace Be Still, when we did it in the church setting
Mhm.
that time, and they said, let it run through, don't stop it, let it run, because people started getting happy. And, you know,
Yes, yes.
it wasn't planned for that
That's right.
to happen. It just
That's right.
happened that way. And it was the anointing that was just there. And during this time, that would be a song
Yes.
for you to listen to. Peace Be Still. There's so many renditions of it. I love the one we did, and love that Teresa was there for
Mm,
us at that time.
that's
And
right.
because that's when Jeanette was having her first little one.
Got
And
you.
so it was amazing. And the feeling that I get from it then. And when we first went to Japan, we would go in the nightclubs and they would be dancing, but on the wall would be Peace Be Still. On the video,
Look at
they
that.
would be
Mm,
playing Peace Be Still. And they would, the biggest questions they would always ask, how do you squall like that in tune? I was like, oh, I don't know.
right. It's
Well,
just, it's,
it's a feeling. It's just something, you know, when you're
there you
belting it out and because you're not planning it. That was a song. I don't know what I was doing the next run. I didn't know what it was going to be,
come on
but
now.
that's when the spirit takes
Great.
over.
That's
And
right.
that's what happened. The gift God gave me, and
Come
He
on.
made it to where people felt it, you know, the anointing I felt, you know, they felt it out, you know, when they heard it.
That's
And
right.
that's what makes it so. And that's what makes truth so,
Come on
because you
now.
don't have to stand up and put a pedestal on it, like the word says.
There
Truth
you
needs
go.
no pedestal
There
because
you go. There
it
you
just
go.
speaks by itself.
That's
Mm.
right. And you know what? What I've always loved and respected about you personally, sis,
Mhm.
is that your depth of faith is strong.
Mm.
And
Mm.
it's a foundation. You can tell
Yeah.
not that, and hearing what you just said now just coincides with the feeling
Mm.
we all got with the music coming up. It's just there. You
No,
know,
I was gonna say that that's kind of like people would tell me how much. That's how my mom. Well, I think I got it from my mom because she's. They would say, "Wow, as much as you sing, does your mom sing?" I said, "Believe it or not, my mom's tone deaf, but
oh,
every time Dad
okay.
would take us when we were young, the Hutchinson Sunbeam, she'd have us sitting, you know, with her on the row, and Mommy would sing with us, and Dad said, "Honey, don't sing when the girls sing," you know, and
Right,
she did not understand that she was tone deaf. And we
right,
was trying to, you know, record her and make her see how you're singing that note and we're singing another note.
right,
Mom
right.
says, "No, I don't." I said, "That's why you're tone deaf, because you
Gotcha.
can't."
But she had that feeling though.
She
You know,
did.
you get to know that
She
feeling,
did. Yes, and Mommy knew the word. She knew that,
She
and that
knew the
her
words.
father was a pastor, you know,
Oh,
and
okay. Okay.
she always taught Bible school, you know, so she is
Uh-huh.
really cool. And our first, I was telling you that I think the other day, the 23rd Psalm, "The Lord is my shepherd."
Mm-hmm.
Every day you wake up, you say that, you know, because
Mm-hmm.
he knows
Mm-hmm.
this is the shadow of death, and that you're not supposed to fear no evil because it's
Come
not
on.
going to come near you because you're dependent on the one who is the master.
Come on.
That's- He
See, see,
knows everything. He knew this was going to come. He knew
mm-hmm.
it's the dividing line. You know, in
Mm-hmm.
Revelation, it talks about in 19 and 21, it
Mm-hmm.
talks about how the times will come like never before. There'll be some plague. I don't know if this is the one,
I
but he
got
said, I'll deliver you from that. But if,
right.
I'll be wondering, do people know that? That he will
Mm-hmm.
deliver them? He delivered me for
Yeah.
some awesome things, which we
Me
won't
too.
talk about.
Me
But
too.
yes,
Yes.
so I'm telling you, that's why I can be up there with my daughters and
Come on
they always
now.
say, "Mommy, when you get on stage, you don't be like that when you're in the rehearsal. You act like you can't hardly move." I said, "All right now," but when I
Come
get on
on now. That's
stage, there's something happens when I start
right
talking about.
on.
We sing "Blessed," and I be
Oh,
I know
yeah.
how blessed we are because the people that loved us all this time, they bless me. When
Come
I
on.
get on, there's something you can feel that love. You
Yes.
can feel it from the audience to hear. They say we
Mhm.
give it to them, and
They
believe
give it right back.
they
That's
do.
right.
It
Come on.
strengthens.
That piece right there is so
Yeah,
needed for the world today,
it is. It is.
even, but always, daily, but
Yes,
today. And you know what,
it's
sis? I
really
want
needed.
to tell. So tell me, when you all left Stax, I think
All
that was
right.
around what 70, the mid 70s or so. Did you go
Yes,
straight to
75.
Columbia Records?
So actually, Maurice was in him and Ron Ellison, a
Yes.
friend of my father's, who
Uh-huh.
was at that time with Paramount. I don't, oh no, he was with the Warner Brothers, and
Okay.
they had a because I still look at that picture and what's the guy that was in the first group from Superfly movie? Superfly. What's the
Right.
name?
Right. Curtis Mayfield's group.
Curtis Mayfield.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
of them were in this picture together. I mean, it was amazing. And Ron Ellison introduced us to
Okay.
Maurice White and
Look
Charles
at that.
Stepney. And
Wow.
they were just getting ready to do Denise Williams. And
Okay.
we met at Charles Stepney's house in the basement with that big old grand piano.
Yeah.
And he was writing a thing. I said, who is that for? She said, oh, that's for Minnie Riperton. She's
Okay.
singing with us with the Chicago Symphony tonight. You guys
Uh-huh.
want to go? I
Uh-huh.
went, oh, well, yes.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it was just amazing how that happened. And that's
Yeah.
when we met Maurice. And
Okay.
Maurice said, well, I'm getting a production coming, Kalimba Productions.
Come
He
on
was
now.
starting up with
Look at
CBS
story.
at that time,
Okay.
CBS Records, and
Okay.
before it became Sony. And
Okay.
so we went over there and he said, well, listen, he said, Reese, I know what the songs you brought. I want to, do the girls have any songs? No
Uh-huh.
one's ever asked us that. Oh, wow.
Look at
Do we have any songs? Yes.
now. Had
I,
you been writing before that time? I
yeah.
know Sheila with the original
Sheila.
tune,
Hmm.
but all during this time, had you all been writing original things?
Yes, we were writing with her. We've written some gospel songs and we wrote songs about what happened in school when we would do
Yeah.
certain talent shows and stuff,
Okay.
and people would come up and sing, or we go and Shaka, who lived not too far from us, we go
Come on.
down there and be
Ah.
with her band in her
Uh,
house,
uh,
and I would say, "Hey, Shaka, hey,"
yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's my girl.
All this history,
But
just like a soul, the neighborhood of soul,
yeah,
just right
and
on.
everybody would say we looked alike. We would go
Yeah.
through and they said, "Boy, you're and Shaka Young look like you could be sisters." Because we had
Yeah.
fros, bigger
Come
than
on. Right. Right.
and
Right.
we would always wear those bell bottoms with those little
Uh-huh.
tops
Uh-huh.
on with our stomach out. Yeah, we was in Japan together one time, and they called me Shaka, and they called her Wanda. That was
One.
just, it was so great. I was like, look at this.
Yes.
But
Yes.
anyway,
So he asked you all to
yeah.
play, or he asked, "What do the ladies have to do?" What did you guys give that time when they asked? I want to hear what they've written. What did you? Do you
Oh,
remember
you're
what
right.
you?
Okay, so I sat down at the piano, and on the Flowers album, which was the
Hmm.
first albums,
Ah. Right.
I don't want to lose your love. I think
Uh-huh.
Flowers was the single. I think the first. Then I don't want to lose your love, or either
Okay.
vice versa. But I sat down. I was playing I don't want to lose your love, and
Hmm.
I'd written it like a torch song, like dinner's ready, da 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 da,
Yeah.
and the wine is chilled, da
Come
da
on.
da da. My
Right.
baby's coming over. Dun, 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 dun. That's how I wrote it. Wanna love because I don't wanna lose your love. I wrote it like that. Then Maurice stopped me. He said, Wanda, why don't we speed it up? And then I thought, oh no, oh, this is a torch song. This is a, and I had about 10 verses, and that's I am. That's a little long, Wanda. Maybe
Mhm.
if we speed it up, and then, but when I went to the, I don't want to lose your love. Boom. We went to
Right.
that part. He loved
Ah.
that. And I got that from Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Ain't no,
Ah.
that kind of thing.
Come on
But
now.
anyway, so when we did
Right.
that, and then Birdie got on the bass, and
Uh-huh.
Al McKay was on the drums, and
Mm.
on the guitar, and Maurice was on drums. And back then we would record the lead while the three part the rhythm
Mm.
section was playing,
Mm-hmm.
so they
Mm-hmm.
would get the same feel that you had,
Come on now.
while you were, the
Yeah,
writer,
in that
and everything.
moment. That's right.
So there'd be a whole difference in that production than what they do now with the technical. Oh, just sing this one line. We'll put that, throw that in
Yeah,
at the end. You don't
yeah.
have to keep saying. But something is different with that,
Come on
I
now. That
believe.
live
Yeah, the
togetherness.
live thing was, it's still. I know it's all better, I guess, because it's technical and it doesn't
I
take
got
as
you.
long in the studio. But
Hmm. Yeah,
that's
but
how
I
I
mean,
like
I
it.
agree with you, sis. There's a reason,
Yeah,
in my opinion, and much respect to all of the producers who are in the
yeah,
technological field and what you're
yeah.
doing because you're still giving your art. But
Hmm.
there was and is, in my opinion, a reason of the specialness
Right.
of recording live, like you just mentioned,
Yeah.
because it stood the test of time to this day.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, I mean, that feeling,
That's
that
true.
passion that was in that room at that moment
Hmm.
was recorded, sent out to us, and
Yeah.
now we're still loving it, you know?
I
And
know.
it's
Yeah.
like, so when you're talking about, I don't want to lose your
Yes.
love.
Yes.
Oh my
So
goodness!
we did
Let
that
me
song, and
get a
then I
numbers.
played "How Can You Stop Loving Someone,"
There
which
you
is a
go.
ballad on that same album. How can you? How can you? And then Charles Stephanie said, "Wanda, do you know that's the same as the Beethoven 14?" Well, I said, "I don't know what you're talking about." Beethoven, I said, "But that's a song I wrote back because it was a." He said it was a sonata, the only one that Beethoven wrote, and it went dun 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 dun. Dun. Well, I had never heard Beethoven's thing, but that's how my song went. How can you stop loving someone? So we
Wow.
did that one, and then I played "You Got the Right to Know Why I Don't Want You
Mhm.
No
Yeah.
More." And then
Yeah.
we played that, and the girls were singing it with me while I was playing it. I did about 7 songs, and
Mm.
Marie used 5 of them on the first album we
On the
did, and
first
that
album.
that just got me. I was like, "Wow!" He said, "Well,
What
now
was
you
that
got
feeling like when you knew that not only you all were
to."
recording, but
Yeah,
five original
5
pieces?
original I know, and nobody does that. They're like, "Oh, no, we have songs for you. You don't
Right.
have to have any song. We're gonna," you know." And then they actually, and they get your publishing together and do.
There you
And I've heard of those TLC stories and
go.
things that
Hmm.
happen with their
Hmm.
songs, and
That's right.
but this was just one time. I think the Lord just watched over us on that.
Come on now. That's
Hmm.
right.
Yeah.
And that, and just so now you all are within a camp, like you just mentioned, to consider the
Right.
blessing to yourself of Maurice White, Stepney,
Yeah. Yeah.
the company that you're with, the production company you're with.
Yeah.
Now your album is doing, and if these numbers are correct, Rejoice.
Yes, that was
Uh,
the second album. Yeah.
right,
Hmm.
Rejoice did #1 on Billboard Top R&B.
Top R&B. Yep.
Top R&B, right?
Hmm.
Now, was Best of My Love on this album?
On Rejoice
On
album.
Rejoice, right?
It was
Now,
on that album.
best wherever I am in the world, and I mean, Wanda, I mean, I know you hear this all the time, but wherever I am in the world, this song is just, you have many anthems, but this one in particular,
Yeah.
what do you feel? Why do you feel that this has just resonated with the world to this day as this is emotions? Best
Yeah.
of my
Oh, yeah, it's such a story about this one too. I'm gonna tell you when we came out to LA to record Rejoice, because we recorded the first album in Chicago,
hmm
over there on 22nd Street, right there by McCormick Place, which is now a hospital turned into a anyway. But we recorded Rejoice right here in Hollywood. And we stayed at a place that wasn't too far from there. And he gave us a little cassette tape and say, "Listen, this is the songs I want you to listen to." And see. And so Best of My Love, he was singing it on there, doesn't take, in his voice. Uh, and so when we came back to the studio the next day, they said, "Okay, push it." And so they pushed it, and I sung it in the same register
Look
that
at
Reese
that.
had on he said, "No, Wanda, you got to sing an octave higher."
There
I
you
said,
go.
"No, Reese, I don't sing high. That's Sheila. I sing, the lower song like Mavis,
Yeah.
and Gladys, that's my kind of stuff." And he said, "Well, just try it, just belt one out. Let's see if we have to change the key, we'll change the key."
Right.
I said, "Okay." And
Right.
so he went and we did it.
Right.
Doesn't take much to make me happy
That's it.
and make me smile with. And then I just belted it out. Do you know the copy that everybody bought that made it a million seller was the first, even though we did it, I did it 10 other times, but the one they kept was the very first one I
Come
did.
on now.
And I did it all the way through. And I wasn't used to, just put down this verse. Okay, just
Yeah.
stop and let's go to the second verse. I have
Mhm.
to do the whole song
Yeah.
because I feel like I'm telling a story.
There
When you
you
tell a
go.
story, you don't break and say, okay,
Hmm.
wait till tomorrow to hear the rest. You got to, do it all at
Give
one
it.
time.
Yeah.
So I did it that way. And
Fantastic.
it was just, that
Fantastic.
was the one they used. And that was the one that won all the Grammys and all the,
See,
and I
yeah,
was
that's right.
like,
Because
oh
that's you.
my God.
It was a Grammy. It
Yeah.
is a Grammy Award, Best R&B Performance by Duo or Group. If
Yeah.
I'm not correct, right
Yes.
there,
Yeah.
and an
And it came
American
out
Music
in
Award.
'77. Yeah,
Right.
it came out in '77, and there was a group, the white group. What was the name? They're giving you the best of my love. And
Yes.
one week we would be number one, and they would be number two. And then
Okay.
in record world, the next one, like Billboard, they would be
Mhm.
number two, and we would be number one. And it
Okay.
was the same title.
Same title.
That was I've got that up on my wall in the
That's
in
right.
my
That's
house.
right.
Best of my love. One
Yeah.
week it's them and I know the name of the
I
group.
got you. Yeah, but
Yeah, I can't think of.
that was a that's
Yeah,
the Grammy, the American Music Award favorite soul R&B single, and
yeah,
platinum certified,
yes,
and a classic to this
yeah,
day that we
yeah,
put on. I put it in our car. I
yeah,
hear it riding down the street. I
yeah,
hear it. So to this day, it's like
yeah.
"Don't Ask My Neighbor," top 10 on Billboard single chart.
Oh, yeah,
That song
right. Hmm.
is another one. How did that? What's the story behind this one?
Which one?
Don't
Neighbor?
ask my neighbor.
Oh my gosh,
Mm,
that wonderful writer Skip Scarborough,
there you
the
go.
same guy that wrote "You Can't Hide Love"
Right.
for Earth, Wind and Fire.
Yes, right.
And he came in that night. It was after we did some other songs, and it was in the
Hmm.
daytime. And then when he played it on the what do you call that keyboard? The Fender Rhodes,
Fender Rhodes, right.
playing it, and then Sheila started singing it, and then we all started
Ooh.
crying. I was like, and then he told us the story behind it, which I won't, because I know it's
Okay.
personal.
Okay.
But he told us the story about it and his wife and everything, and we were just crying. We was like, wow. And I mean, then we was like 18. We was older, 20,
Hmm.
21, so
Hmm.
we knew about life. And
Hmm.
but he said, but Sheila, Maurice says, I don't want you to sing this in the daytime. She
Mm.
says, I want you to sing this at 1 a.m. And I
Hmm.
was like, what does that got to
Yeah.
do with anything?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
see, he knew what he knew.
He knew what he knew.
Maurice. And when Sheila, because she had, that morning voice you have
Right.
has
Yeah.
an edge on it,
Yes, it
and you're more, but that other one is sultry. When you're at 1
did.
a.m., you have Sheila's voice, even
Oh,
though it's pristine and
yes.
it
Yes.
has a sultry
That's right.
thing later on in the evening. And she
Hmm.
recorded that about 2 a.m., I guess.
Hmm.
And boy, it was just like Best of My Love. It was the first two takes is
Mm.
what they used.
Is
And
what
I
they
was
use.
wow, because and her heart was so into it because we knew the story
Gotcha.
behind it, and I was like, oh.
Sheila's voice.
And then when I
Sheila.
met his wife, and I didn't want to like her because I knew the story. No, no,
Okay.
but it's the truth.
That's a little side note for of
Yeah,
the whole thing. But
yeah,
you're right. Sheila's voice,
yes,
period,
yes,
is just incredible.
yes.
But on that tune, it's like
Mhm.
that Sheila-ness is what I always like to call
Oh,
it.
I
That
know.
Sheila-ness set a precedent.
She does. She
That
does.
just you're right.
Hmm. And she can cry sing.
Come on.
You know what that is?
Yeah.
Like yeah, she
Hmm.
can cry sing. When
Right.
she's done,
Right.
and
Right.
when
Right.
she can do
Right.
it, Sheila's way. And
Which became another emotionism
yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
And
You
see,
know.
like that, that's her squall. Like my squall, my squall.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Best of My Love and Bless It. I
Uh-huh.
have that squall from the gospel groups,
Yeah.
like Joe Lagon and,
Yeah. Yeah.
Mighty Clouds of Joy kind of squall.
Uh
And I
huh.
get that by dad taking us to all these the gospel shows that were
Yeah.
usually at DuSable High School back in
Okay.
the day. And we would go there and see the blind boys and see
Hmm. Come
the
on now. Yeah.
and oh my God. And I'm like, wow, look like if they would sing the songs that Johnny Taylor sing, they would be a hit too.
There
but
you go.
they
Because
would.
Johnny came from that same camp as far
Yeah,
as what it is. You know, everybody, the
you're right.
church has the
And
black church
Luther,
has such a
remember Luther
reputation.
Ingram?
That,
He,
oh, come
my
on, loving you
honey
is
and me,
wrong.
my honey
That's
and me. Yeah,
that's right. And
yeah.
you know what? A lot of people want because I actually just some people, one person on the feed here, which is also a something that has been out there that you and Mavis Staples have kind of that same, you know,
Yes,
it's two totally distinct
yes,
voices and
yes.
style, but that same
Hmm.
feeling, that soul. Have
That
you heard that
guttural,
before?
it's a guttural thing to me, like Mahalia Jackson. She
Yeah,
had that guttural, that going oh, that
yeah.
thing that just resonates,
Mm-hmm.
from her chest or from her, diaphragm.
That's right.
And
That's right.
with Mavis, I used to always mimic her. You hear me, Jesus? You hear me, Jesus? When
Right.
she did all of her, and even the little thing she did that was a hit that they play at the baseball games. And I thought,
Right. Right.
oh. Yeah, anyway, I would
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
sing her songs, her and Gladys, and
Because they were part of your life. Like you said, Pops was your manager, right?
yeah,
And
yes,
then the
Purvis
whole
Staples, mm-hmm.
yeah, that
Purvis,
Chicago days and the
yes,
Purvis,
right,
sorry, Purvis,
mm-hmm.
with that whole setup, that
Yeah,
foundation of
you're right,
education,
yeah,
it's stuck with you, huh?
yeah, it really did, and even our Purvis got the people together to do our steps and stuff, get us, all together with,
Mm-hmm.
how our choreography, and he
Right.
had a studio right there in the middle of the city that even young new artists would come because he had other artists besides Emos. We were just his first,
Okay.
but it was really something when we look back. Sid Dower had done a documentary on us when we did the. It's all on YouTube. Some of those gospel songs, Jubilee Showcase, and
Oh yeah.
we did that in that's where we met Don Cornelius or something because
Okay.
it was done in a place where they sell the cars in the
Mm-hmm.
showroom. That's where they set the microphone up, and it was a gospel show, and all the gospel people that came in that day would come on that show. And but
Um,
my dad wrote insurance for the people that sold cars there,
Look at
and
that.
that's how.
Yeah.
And so did Don Cornelius. He wrote insurance at that car place, and that's how we met him. He
Look at
wasn't
that.
doing anything with what he ended up doing,
Right.
being a
Right.
host,
Right.
but he
And
knew his
see that
music.
that
Mhm.
like you're saying, sis, that Chicago scene.
Yes,
Oh man,
yes,
because like at home
yes.
in Memphis, we know the bulk of what Memphis sound and Memphis
Mhm,
music.
mhm.
When you go up into Chicago, you're getting into that whole other scene. I think
You're
our
right.
mutual brother Benjamin Wright, who did our
Yes,
show last
yes,
month, he was
yes.
talking about also how that's where you all met
That's
around in the
That's
Chicago days.
I was fixing to bring up Benjamin. I was like, oh my gosh, because Benjamin was such, when it came to the musicians and the band thing that was in Chicago, I always kind of went to the like Donny Hathaway, the show where people were
Okay.
singing, so I
Right,
could get some of
right,
that.
right,
Benjamin Wright, when he did Boogie Wonderland, he
right.
did the
Yeah,
music,
yes.
the arrangements. It was so
Oh
wonderful.
my goodness,
Oh
Boogie
my God.
Wonderland. I
Yes,
see
yes.
that one,
Hmm.
and it's almost like we're sharing the same notes here because that's
Yeah.
exactly where I was going.
Hmm.
Boogie Wonderland is another one. When
Oh
you,
yeah.
no matter where you are in the world, no
Yes,
matter
and
what
you're
it
out of
is,
breath when
the
you're singing to
energy
it
of
or
that.
dancing,
I'm sorry, what'd you say, sis?
and you're out of breath when you're singing that song.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
But the energy of that tune,
Yeah.
it's just nonstop. And the
Nonstop.
video,
You're right.
the video. Tell
Mhm.
me about recording that video. That
Oh
video was
my
full of
gosh.
life.
Yes, it was, and that's when I had that mushroom haircut, so I was swinging it back and forth. My girl Cindy gave me that mushroom haircut,
Okay.
and those costumes, those costumes ended up in the Hall of Fame there in Cleveland.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we donated to. But
What?
anyway, but doing that, we did that video of Boogie Wonderland to. Uh, okay, you remember when they had King Kong?
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
well, the lot of Paramount where they were building King Kong
Hmm. Hmm.
was right by us when we were doing the
Okay.
video for it for
Okay.
Boogie Wonderland. And
Mm.
Maurice was in the, and then they tried to keep Maurice in between and my hair to stop hitting him when he would come over to and then what's his name? Peely's dad. That's my niece, but anyway, Peely's dad, which is Philip. Philip was going there, and he said, I said, oh well, Philip can't dance. We got to get in front of him.
Philip Bailey.
Yeah,
Okay. That's right.
but he could sing now.
Yeah,
But
come on.
anyway, he said,
Yeah,
"That's okay. I can get in between y'all.
yeah, that's
Me and
right.
Chilla and
Because the whole vibe of the video was so perfect because the
yeah.
song is a party for life. And
Yes.
then what you presented on the video is a party. How did that recording take place? What was the story behind even recording Boogie Wonderland?
Well, that was an idea of what the Maurice's folks came up with.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I don't really remember the guy's name, but the choreographer that they brought
Okay.
in was with Bette Midler.
Ah,
And he kept telling us, "Give me those eyes, give me those
yes.
eyes." He would always
Yeah.
say that. So we'd have to open it. He said, "You got to act like you're looking at the person in the very back row of a big
Mm,
auditorium,
okay.
all while you're singing it, And when you come out of that shaking that hair, Wanda, open those eyes." I was like,
Gotcha.
okay.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So it was. And but what was the other? The guy out of New
Right.
York, and he
Yeah.
did all the Motown people's
Oh,
choreography.
goodness. Yeah.
Oh, I can't think of his name. Anyway, but when they did that, I was like, wow. And we were there all day, but it was something. They set up all this food and stuff. I said, what are all these tables for? And I thought it was for the
Right.
people that was putting up the King Kong uh,
Yeah.
things.
Okay.
I said,
Right.
oh no, that's for you guys.
That's for
You're gonna
you.
do it all. Like, because if one person, they were trying to get a take that was all the way through, even though, they can mix and match it,
Yes.
I
Right.
guess.
Right.
But they
Right.
were trying to get one, that's all the way,
Mhm.
like I'm thinking how I would do my songs,
Yeah.
just all the way down. But
Wow.
it took a while to do it, but we got it done.
Got it done. Now,
Yeah.
Wanda, what you can, we mentioned Don't Ask My Neighbor, and,
Mm.
our joint sister friend,
Oh, yeah.
Nancy Wilson, God bless her,
Yeah.
rest her
Well,
soul. She
yeah.
was just one
Yeah.
of, and, a
That
goddess in her own. I'm
that
getting
covered it.
emotional
Mhm.
remembering it because of
Yeah.
but she was just one of the many who covered that tune.
Yes, she was, and very spiritual sister too. I
Yes,
mean,
she was.
I would see her a lot. We did some. We had a club that my husband Wayne would be
The baked
playing
potato.
baked potato.
Him
Yeah,
and Chris,
in
yeah,
Pasadena.
yeah, that's right.
Hmm. And she would always come there
She
and
would.
Dugu would be there. Everybody would stop in,
Every
all the greats, in the city, and
that
they would come by. And then when she came that night, and your sister, uh,
Julie.
Julie,
That's
and
right.
I was like, oh my God, Brian
And
would come, right?
yeah,
And I mean, it was just one of those spots where everybody dropped by. And when
that's
they
right.
dropped by, they came up on stage and sung with
Come
us.
on. You
You
know
know?
what Wanda, that gave when Wayne, your husband, and my brother Chris, they
Yes.
came together with that idea,
Yes.
and it was just a thing that they said, you know what?
Mm.
It's not a it's just a place where first the musicians are going to come, after
Mhm.
hours we're just going to jam, and like you said,
Yes.
everybody would just, but then all of a
They
sudden,
would come. Ooh,
and I think it was that pure soul, that
it was.
non-pretentiousness,
You're right.
that
And it was
listen,
mostly word of mouth because it
word of
wasn't
mouth.
on the radio because you didn't want everybody because the club was like a jazz club. It wasn't meant for
Exactly.
thousands of people, but
That's
but
right.
the folks that came through, they were like, "Oh my gosh!" And
Yeah.
they became regulars. And then the food wasn't bad at
It
all.
wasn't bad. That's right. But
Yeah.
Nancy, Bobby Caldwell, I think Will
Yeah.
Downing covered the
Yes.
tune.
Yes.
Just on and on with, I
You're
mean,
right. And
with
Janice Marie from Taste of Honey, she
taste.
came
Come on,
there
sis
and
Janice.
sang
That's
with
right.
us, and Shaka came, my girl,
Hmm.
and oh boy, everybody. I know some people I'm leaving out, but
Now you worked with Nancy on A
and
Lady
Brenda
with a
Lee
Song.
Ager. Hey, Brenda. She's
Who?
Brenda Lee Ager.
Oh
Remember
yes,
she sang
that's
all that
right.
stuff with Jerry Butler?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Ain't
Those baked
understanding
potato
mellow.
days.
Yeah.
Those baked potato days were the
Yeah.
bomb. Hey Wayne, Chris, we need to bring that back, y'all. Come on.
Yeah, Shawnee's, because Shawnee's voice, she
Shanice. Oh,
sang with me. Oh, my
oh
baby.
man. And her
Crystal.
mother. Oh,
Mhm,
her
I know.
mother. Oh my
Now,
goodness.
Crystal, sometimes, Crystal would sing with us in the
That's
studio,
right. That's oh,
and she has that voice that's like Sheila.
incredible voice.
She has incredible,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yes, that's right. And when you worked with Nancy on A Lady with a Song, is I think that was the
That's
album
it.
that Don't Ask My Neighbor.
It's
Other
on.
collaborations with George Duke,
Yeah.
1995,
And then
Illusion.
we did it on the TV show with Robert Townsend. Remember when he had that show? And
Exactly.
Nancy came on, and we
Hmm.
background sang with her.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was,
Robert Townsend did a lot
uh,
for keeping that real
yes,
alive, and
yes.
then later Sinbad, Funk Man himself, came in and did the whole Bahama,
The
Uh,
Sin,
Aruba.
Aruba,
Oh, yeah,
yes.
that's right.
Oh, I love
Mad props
that.
to Sinbad on that for,
And
and it just
Stephanie,
showed, over the years, it never stopped. That love for the music,
you're
that
right, right,
respect, that longing for that good feeling
you're
that
right.
music brings. Because
Yeah,
when you look at on Sinbad's thing, it was just a sea of
see,
people
I know, I
loved.
know. That was such a great idea.
Yeah.
I think his brother or somebody came up with it, but it was a
Hmm.
great idea.
Yeah. And how does it feel, Wanda, now in 2020? What
Mhm.
is the feeling when you hit the stage and feel that coming back to you?
Oh, baby. I mean, it energizes me, you know, because I got my Medicare card, and but when I get up there, it's like I'm 22
There
again.
you go, sister. That's right. That's right.
I
That's
mean, I
right.
can stay up there. I mean, and they say, "How do you still sing in the same key like that?" You know,
That's
because
right.
we're on stage now with the blue notes and the
Mm.
stylistics and what's all the guys from that era?
Dramatics and
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
hmm
and yeah, the girls aren't helping me, but
hmm yeah, I got you.
but
But that
we're
pure
still
soul,
doing those shows, and we see them. They say, "Wow, you guys still sing it in the same key, in the
right?
key of C," which is, and
Mm.
I'm like, "Oh yeah," because I remember when BNGB when what's my guy Hammer time.
Yeah,
He remember when he produced it, and she was saying, "I don't want to lose your love." And
that's
they were in the studio and called me. However, they got my number. I don't really know, and I didn't really think it was Hammer time. I said somebody's fooling me. He said, "No, I'm in the studio with this artist, BNGB, and she's doing your song. I don't want to lose your love, and we're trying to get that first hookup that you guys, that first break that you do. I do
right.
it. No, come on and say that you will. I'll
Uh,
be there to fulfill. Because she had put some other words in there. I was like, oh, where did she get those words? But I gave them to her over the phone, and then
right.
she, got it. But I thought it was just amazing. And
You
then I
know,
heard the Paris sisters
yeah.
sang it, and
Uh,
it's amazing. I
Now,
think,
and the people like you're mentioning now, the people that you and the emotions have inspired over
oh,
the years. I mean, let's look at, like, even you mentioned. Let's talk about the double platinum, Mr. Smith with LL Cool J.
Elle, you're right.
That
You're right. That blew up.
that was what. How did that come about?
Well, actually, a friend, a musician friend, of Reese's had told us about it, and we did it in different cities. He did
Okay.
one part, and then we did it,
Hmm.
but it was still analog at that time. It wasn't
Gotcha.
digital yet.
Right.
So you
Right.
still got that
That
soul
feeling, that
that,
bottom. That's
yes,
right.
like it's right in front of you, and in Vogue, when you talk about that, I was thinking about when we did meet Destiny Child on the Robert Townsend show.
Yeah.
When he did that, it was Tyrese. That's when we first met him because he did Boogie Wonderland with us. He did Maurice's part, and he had me drilling him, just drilling him to sing it the right way. And he was like, he had a little problem with doing triplets,
Okay.
and you know how wordy
There
that
you go.
song is. He
Uh-huh.
like creep so slowly
That's
into
right.
my. But every time he would go, daylight creep so slowly into. I said, oh no, no, no!
No, no,
You
no,
gotta
no.
go daylight creep. It's the upbeat.
Right.
And it was
Right.
the hardest thing. And so, what's my girl, Beyonce?
Yeah.
Every day while we was doing it, she was dying. She said, "Oh, can we get that kitty?" I said, "Well." Anyway, but anyway, then we sung with them, and that's when we met all the girls, on the and they were so cool. And
Oh
she came
yeah.
over and asked us. We were doing, it was a gospel song, and she came over and asked Sheila, "Can you just show me this part?" She was so humble.
Beyonce. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, she
Yeah.
was always well. Even I know she was just coming into
Yeah.
the Destiny Child,
Yeah.
but she's the same way, and
Yes.
I
Right.
like that about her. I
See
really
there.
do.
And you could tell she kept that soul.
She
And you
did.
know what? I have to give
Yeah.
it, me, my sister Julie and I, we talk about it a lot. And
Mhm.
I've said this in interviews of my own, that it, it, we, growing up and being blessed to be able to sit under your tutelage and others and
Uh-huh.
yours. I remember you at the studio on John Avenue.
Oh, John Avenue, yeah.
You would do the same with me and Julie. Or
Oh,
when
yeah.
we come off stage to bake potato, you take us to the
Yeah.
corner and say, "Now that was good. We're
Uh-huh.
going." try this. You know,
Disco.
try
Yeah.
to press this on. And those
I
those
love it.
those gems of advice, man. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, from Beyonce to the others, and down to
Yeah.
the like
And
Julie.
Mariah Carey, I didn't know if you were going to say that when she did
Yep.
an emotion, and
Yep.
people got upset because they thought she was like trying to overstep or take away, or
Hmm.
take something from us.
Yeah.
And she did it on some show. And while they were on MTV, I
Hmm.
got a call. I'll be wondering how do these people get my number. But anyway, and it was her because I knew her voice for one. And
Right.
she says, I want you to know everything's okay with you guys, right? With an emotion, because everybody thinks that that's you guys in the background and I didn't use you on that. I said, I thought it was a tribute. I
There
mean,
you go.
that's what I took it
Right.
as.
Right.
I
See
said,
there.
wow, if anything, I just want to thank you, and
Hmm.
she was so happy to hear that.
On.
And I was like,
Right on.
but I just didn't receive it the way others did. But that's how loyal, the folks
Yeah.
our fans are, and which is so beautiful.
Oh
And
my.
but Mariah, I mean, Mariah is the
Yeah. That's right. That's
best.
right.
And
I mean, when you in the ring, you have names like Mariah Carey,
yeah,
Beyonce,
yeah.
LL Cool J, um,
Aretha Franklin.
Aretha Franklin.
Yeah, and she had me come sing on her song. Nobody knew. And I would come in, and she don't let anyone in her sessions. I know most people don't, but know that. But she does not let anyone. She said the only reason, and I wrote her because Skip Scarborough was producing her
Okay.
album, the Diva
Hmm.
album. And so I had written the song for her, and she loved it so much. And she said, well, you ain't supposed to be in here, right, Wanda? And she told me that. And I said, yeah. She said, if it wasn't for my son, and I'm gonna remember here when I saw some of the things that happened when she passed, and I saw his writing. I said, "That's the son that was in there that day."
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
"Oh no, you gotta have Wanda in here."
Yeah.
And he just
Yeah.
wanted me to be there, which I was so happy because
Right
I
on.
got a chance to be in there with that's
Hmm.
the one I
Yeah.
love. I
Hmm.
sing all Aretha songs, and
Yeah.
anyway,
There
and
you go. There you go. And it said, because like all of those names, like you just mentioned, being able to sit with Aretha,
yeah,
that's the way the presentation of how
mm,
Beyonce and Mariah and the rest felt
yeah,
sitting under you.
yeah, and
And
she would
that
call
torch
us
goes on.
for her birthday parties, and she would fly us out to Detroit. We'd be in that hotel, where all those cars are on the floor,
The
each floor,
Cobo Hall,
a
right?
GM. That's it. And then there would be
The
all,
book Cadillac, one of
and
those, right?
she had made all the food herself. They were her recipes at
Mm,
her birthday party,
yeah.
and it was the who is that big, the uh, football player he was that she went with. Anyway, he was
Okay.
there, and he came in and brought us on stage and in the lobby of the hotel, and I mean it was so magnificent. And when we got finished singing,
Mhm.
and Keith Washington was there, just all the people she liked,
Right. Right.
all the people, and she had them at her, and these people that came from Brazil, and they were on
Yeah.
stilts. She
Yeah.
had all of this stuff, and then she came back, and when we came back in the dressing room and everything, our manager was back there, and she came back there and asked him to go out. And so and he did. And so she,
Hmm.
she said, yeah, when I pay my artists, I pay them. I don't give them to anybody else.
Look at that.
And she took all of this money out of
Hmm.
purse
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
and gave it to us. She said,
Right.
yeah, now this how much it was, right? Yeah, what counted? Yes, okay.
Yeah.
And she took it all
That,
out. She
that,
said, here, Wanda,
right.
here. Now, if you want to give it to the manager, I said,
See, that's realer than real,
I
man.
love it. It was just so cool. And anyway, that's
That's realer than
life
real.
step.
I mean, all of
Oh,
these stories and all of this,
mhm.
the insights, Wanda. I know this is just incredible to so many people. I know if
I
I'm
mean,
if I'm loving it, they loving it even.
oh, good.
And I have so respect. Now let's fast forward to
Okay.
we
We
mentioned
missed the
2020.
Michael Jackson times now. That's
Oh
when
no, come on,
when
come
they
on,
came to see us in Chicago at
the
the little
Jackson Five.
club, the Jackson Five, and they
Oh
was the
yeah,
Jackson Five because
yeah,
their dad and my dad, both of them Joseph, and they
right.
became friends. He was the
Uh-huh.
one to introduce him to the lawyer that we used out here when we came out to do Maurice and them. So that was
Okay.
in the '70s, and but they would come to our little show there in Chicago. There would be these small clubs, not huge things, just
Mm-hmm.
a small club. And they would come. I was like, well, what are they? Because their dad is with them, and
Mm-hmm.
he would bring them. And I was like, look at these boys, and they're gonna. And that was before they had a deal or
Okay.
anything. But everybody in Chicago, because Gary was like
Right. Yeah.
miles from us or
Yep.
something.
Yeah.
So they would come and see us, and boy, I mean, he got, and I'm gonna tell you, what was his brother, the one Marlon, right?
Marlon. Right.
Okay, because he was the youngest, and then it was Marlon, and then
Mm-hmm.
anyway, he had this little thing for me. It was one of them bubble gum rings
Okay.
that you get out of the bubble gum machine.
Wait, Michael did or Marlon
Yeah.
did? Michael did.
Well, Marlon brought it to me, but Michael didn't want to bring it to me because he thought, I don't know what he thought.
Too
I
shy.
wouldn't like it or something.
Right.
I
Right.
don't know.
Right. Right.
But he came, but when I reminded him,
Oh
when
man.
we came out here when 77, I mean, when the Best of My Love had blew up, he came to Disneyland to see us. We were singing at the thing at Disneyland. Well, I
Yes.
forgot what the auditorium was. But
Right.
he was back. Nobody told us. At first, we thought it was Prince that he
Uh
came back there, but it was Michael. He had came back there, and he came back there and saw us, and he was like, "Now the first time I saw y'all way back when we was in Chicago,
huh.
blah blah
Oh
blah." I
my.
said, "Yeah," and I said, "Do you remember that ring you gave me?" He said, "Yeah." Don't say nothing. I feel so bad about that. I said, "No." I just thought it was so sweet. And then he asked us, "How do you wear those high heels while you sing?"
Oh yeah. Right. Right.
I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Anyway, I had to tell that because Michael, he was
But he
just
had been feeling and remembering and thinking that
yes,
for
and
all
he
those
still
years.
remembered that and brought it up.
Right.
When we was
Right.
here years later.
Uh-huh.
But anyway,
Now,
that was so
also
cool.
you mentioned Michael, but Prince was very vocal about the respect
Yes,
he
he
had
was.
for the emotions and the sound. Did
Yes.
you all ever
Yes,
work
and
together or
when we were
interact
in
together?
Hollywood Sound recording "Best of My Love," well, no, it was after that because it was the next. I can't think of that album, but anyway, the next one he brought a song to Reese for us to listen to,
Look at
and Reese and his uh, Prince's management, they were at odds. I know that they were at odds, and so I went upstairs. You know where the pool table is upstairs
yeah,
at
that's
Hollywood
it.
Sound,
The
and
sound.
so I was up there, and he came up there, and his real name, am I going to think of it?
Prince
Because
Rogers Nelson.
Roger.
Right.
That's all. Yeah, he said, "Oh, my name is Roger," and his eyes were so. He was like, "Oh, look at this little boy." He's got a song for us, and that's so cute. And so he showed it to me at the table there, while we're playing it. I was playing the video game, they were playing. But anyway, he's like, "I want you think Reese will like it? You think he'll like it?" I said, "Oh, heck yeah, he'll like it."
uh,
And it was really tough. And we didn't do it because of whatever there was
oh,
something,
politics, right.
yeah, the
Yeah,
politics, whatever
yeah,
happened with his
right.
management. But I knew then, I said, "This guy, what a songwriter.
Mm,
What a songwriter. Why is he not able to?" Anyway, but
yeah,
we know what he became. So,
come on now.
that
That's
was, I know whoever decision that was,
yeah, exactly.
still beating
Now,
himself
as
up.
a female
Yeah.
artist, as a female songwriter, female entity in this music industry,
Mhm.
I've talked to other female. What was your take on the respect of the female artist, the
Mhm.
female writer in this industry? If we just brought in the political side,
Yes,
the
you're
industry
right.
side, was there
It
a struggle at a time?
It was. There was really a struggle, and it wasn't one where they were trying to, get over on you
Yeah,
because, uh, oh, let me see if I can just go out with her and get this,
yeah,
that, and the other. It
right.
wasn't like that. I think it is because they think we were, what's that word? Or you're a little naive, so
Okay.
you'll go with the next thing that come up, and then we
Mm-hmm.
don't have you no more. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's why they always want to deal with someone other than you,
Gotcha.
than a woman, because
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
figure, you'll be fickle. That's the word.
Okay. Okay.
You'll have some fickleness, or you'll get into some other guy who's going to take over,
Mhm. Yeah.
our
I,
manager side of it or
mm-hmm.
something like that. I,
Mm-hmm.
I think that was it. And then because they really knew that we didn't know about the industry, they would
Mm-hmm.
maybe take advantage. Like Boogie Wonderland,
Yeah.
when we first did it, there was no mention of the emotions, and they wouldn't let it go on our album. And my
Really?
father almost had a heart attack over that. That they
Okay.
wouldn't let Boogie Wonderland go on our next album, which they should have,
Yeah.
but they didn't. It was a big argument. And then I was thinking, no wonder poor Prince didn't get that song on our album. It was this kind of mess,
Okay.
going
Shut-
on. But
Yeah. I
yeah,
got. And when we're talking about "Let's Groove," which is another anthem, you co-wrote "Let's Groove." correct?
Yes, yes.
You know, I mean, come on, this is what we're on
That's
anthem number
good.
7.
Yes, and when we were showing him that, I think I was
And you
breastfeeding
collaborated with your husband Wayne Vaughn.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
gotcha.
did. We were up at Reese's house and he was looking for some songs, and we came up there and and there was a seven and glad like a 747.
47.
I came up with that line and I thought it was so what's that word? Like he ain't gonna use that line. He
Okay.
oh,
Okay.
that's so good. Why would she put that line in there?
Right.
But everybody when we came to see his shows when it came out, I mean, you know how huge the what's
Oh
that
yeah. Yeah.
Staples Center, but the other place,
Yeah.
Forum.
Uh-huh.
When they did the Forum, everybody hit 747. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. 'Cause I thought it was so infantile to put that in there,
Oh man, but
Or,
it hit. It
yeah,
touched. We knew it set because the 747.
and
That's
glad like
they
a
glide like a
747. Yeah.
out of sight, out of
Yeah.
sight.
But
Now,
anyway, I really enjoyed that.
and it's like the music that you, as a musical family, you grew up in under your father and the
Yeah.
foundation of the church with your sisters. Now that legacy has passed on or
Yeah.
is being in the process, and it's a
Yeah.
reality through your children, who in my
Absolutely.
opinion, I'm blessed to be able to have seen them grow into the
Yeah.
adults
Yeah.
that they are doing their thing with
They
just
are.
so many talents, you
Yes.
know
Yes.
and musical or industry wise, health
Mhm,
wise,
mhm.
education wise. I believe they all have masters at least, right?
Yes, they
These are
do.
doctors, and
Yeah.
so the educational thing.
Mhm.
Much respect to
Yeah.
all of your
I know.
children. And
And they wrote the song that we have out now. A lot of our guy we put it on the fan page, "Life," the song that Wyann and Wendy wrote.
okay, okay.
I don't know if I had sent you that, but it's us.
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Snoop Dogg came in and he put his thing on there and
That's right.
rapped a couple of things on it. I'm gonna have to play that.
Oh, that was on the Blue Carpet album.
Life, the thing
Right.
you think you know so much
Yes,
about, you got to
that's
see
the
it
one.
twice. It is such a life is something like it's a cold game. Oh, you got to hear
Oh,
this.
sing it one.
It's on our fan page. We
Right
put it
on.
on there, and
Right
when
on.
YN put the video on it, and it shows all of our picnics that we'd have at Griffith Park.
Mhm.
The family
Family
picnics, and
picnic.
Shawnice is on there because everybody
Hmm.
would come by.
Yeah.
And
Those family.
Ben
Ben,
Wright,
oh yeah.
yes, he's on
Ellison,
the
everybody,
video.
because those picnics that you all do every year, it's
Yes,
like
I
it's a
know.
release from everything. And Wayne get on that grill and the
Oh yeah,
fish laid out, and
oh yeah,
everybody gets in the pockets and maybe
yeah.
have a guitar or a congo or something.
Yes,
Be
you're right.
some singing going on, singing and
It
eating and
does, and the
crying and
guitars they have.
you
And we
know.
have the generator, so
That's
we get
right.
the sound. Yeah.
I want
I
to
wish
talk.
I could invite everybody to come to the family picnic. Yeah.
Right, right, right.
I
Bring
make
some
my
ice.
enchiladas.
Oh man,
Make 3 or 4 platters of those
yeah.
turkey enchiladas, all
Come
ground
on now.
turkey,
Yeah.
and
Now you know what I like though, Wanda. I like Wanda's wings. Them wings that you do
oh,
out.
I make yes, I do make great wings.
Oh now.
They're crunchy wings, but they so
Oh, that's
well,
what
I
I
call
am
them
too.
garlic
Bone
wings
crunchy.
because
That's the word.
I put
That's
garlic and olive oil. That's it, a
that's
little
it.
salt and pepper. Hmm.
Now you're cooking. I know Wayne cooks also, but you're cooking also. Not just the music has transcended into your kids because Wendy.
Oh, Wendy,
Oh
oh,
my goodness, I never forget
her
Wendy.
peach
Well,
cobbler.
let's talk about this. But
Okay,
Wendy is your daughter, one
yeah,
of your daughters. You have Wendy, Wyan, Wit, and Warren.
yeah,
Little Warren,
yeah.
and all of our kids pretty much grew up together.
Yes, that's
And so with Wendy's now, correct me, Wendy has I am Wendy I with an
yes,
I.
yes.
And can we bring the ladies on? Are they there with you
Oh,
somewhere?
I think
Wendy
somewhere.
and Wyan somewhere around?
Joker, go get YN.
Yeah,
That's her
because
great.
with all of, I remember Wendy taught me how to make provolone tacos
Oh my gosh,
with
she
the
sure.
provolone cheese on the bottom.
Wendy. Oh,
But there be some cooking going
Joker.
on there.
Hmm.
You know. But
So
this has been such a, I mean, all the stories, Wanda. I know you're the history of your career.
yes.
It's endless. I mean, there's so many.
Well, come to, oh, there he is. Why, yeah. Vic was calling you.
Oh, YN's there.
YN's there? Yes. She's right here.
Yeah, Wendy and YN. Oh, that's gonna be a
But for the first
treat.
time, no, he just wants you to.
I'm so glad they're here.
They're right here. She's gonna sit. YN will come in. Yeah. YN. You
There
want to
we
ask
go.
YN? She's right here. YN, where are you?
Yeah, Wendy and YN. Oh, that's gonna be
But
a
for the
treat.
first time, no, he just wants you to have
I'm
it.
so glad they're here.
And you're right here. She's gonna sit. I know, but she can
Hey,
sit.
Wendy.
YN. You want to?
There we go.
You sit with her. But when the day that they called us and told us we were nominated for,
Yeah.
oh, good. Okay.
Oh, they're all gonna join you right there.
I can't hear you, Vic, because YN is, or someone's talking.
Oh, okay.
Wendy?
We'll do like the telephone commercial. Can you hear me now?
There's Wendy with an I.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, the tours that we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Here's what ask you something. There's YN.
Hey,
Yeah.
YN.
Oh, good.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, you want to see just a little right here? Hold it,
Yeah.
hold
Oh,
that beautiful face, girl.
oh yeah. Wendy put my mom on twice. I don't think she
I
realizes
got
that.
you. I
YN.
got you.
Ah.
Wait, so we have two mommies?
Hey, hey,
I
hey.
hear
I gotta
you.
tell. I gotta
Oh,
tell
YN.
Wendy. There she goes. All right,
There
now
we
it went back to
go.
normal.
What's
There we
happening,
go.
YN?
Good morning. How you? Well, good afternoon, morning, situation.
There
How
you
y'all
go.
doing?
We doing too blessed to be stressed right about now,
I'll
girl.
Oh,
take it. I'll take it. I'll
what did
take
you
it just
ask
like that.
YN about?
You know what, YN? I was just sitting here bragging on you and Wendy and Warren and Whitney. Um, I mean, I can't help but brag because I love you. That's the first thing. But then all the second of that is that you back it up. Y'all are
Yeah.
multi-talented individuals. And we're talking about from the music that's been passed in your blood. Hey,
Yeah.
Wendy, I see you too over there. Wendy's sitting with her mom, and YN's right here. But we're talking
Yes.
also about the educational that you much respect. I think I was in college for 6 months and then I hit the road, right? I hit the
I
road.
heard that.
But you all went all the way through in so many facets of your life and your
Yeah.
accomplishments that you're making and have
Yeah.
made. I want to talk a little bit, Wendy, about the Wendy with an I. Tell me about your organization, girl.
Yes, so this right here is, I wish I had your logo too, Ryan, darn. This is I Am Wendy with an I. And so my platform is basically dedicated to teaching people health, wellness, self-love, and love for their self and love for everybody else.
Very important.
On that cell, because that's, we are our own cellular, beginning to
Right.
everything in our exterior world.
Mm-hmm.
um, Taking from all the different things I've learned in life about health and wellness and just
Mm-hmm.
being of sound mind and
Come
spiritually
on.
connected and all that stuff, helping people find their purpose when it comes to their career,
Mm-hmm.
and navigating all of the different ideas that this world would put on you.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's how it got to be, and that isn't how
Mm-hmm.
it got to
There
be.
you go. There you go. And
Right.
it's so important that message that you're giving, especially now. I mean, so in your mom's interview previously, she was talking about the mentorship she had in her life. Then she was able to pass it to other artists in their life, and now to her children. Your message, I mean, that's what we all need. coming up, that message of positivity. Yes, you can do it.
Oh
Don't let
yes.
it get you down, you know.
Oh
So
yeah.
much respect to you and your organization. And I was bragging on your cooking because I still can't get my provolone tacos down.
Her
I'm
cooking is
trying,
second to
my
none.
cheese just won't come.
I love the provolone taco shells because that's when you, Cheryl, your wife,
Yeah.
me,
Mm-hmm.
two of us, we were all trying to do the grain-free thing
Uh,
because of just different situations, and so
right.
that was one of the recipes.
That was
Instead
one
of
of the,
using the grain, corn taco or flour,
that's
you use
it.
provolone cheese. Yep.
And that
Oh yes.
salad, I went out the next day and bought that balsamic vinegar from Trader Joe's.
Balsamic vinegar.
And you know, I like to try to burn myself. It relaxes me. But there's some things I just say, man, I just gotta wait till I get back and eat that firsthand. You know.
And
Now,
it,
what Ann, baby girl, why
Yay.
Ann? Let me tell you something, y'all. Listen, we talk, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm in brag mode on you now. So, two-time Grammy nominated singer
Yes.
songwriter, right?
Yes. Yes.
Host of Raise It Up
Raise it up.
at
Why?
Raise It Up. Why?
Oh yes.
One of my favorite musical projects, Polyseeds. Number one, the name of Polyseeds, because it makes you want to do this, and you got your bag sitting right there, and all of those who eat sunflower seeds know what this is about, you know.
Yes.
So it's like,
Yes.
and also, but let's go to the Grammy, baby. Tell me about that. What's happening?
Oh, yeah. Well, one of the Grammy nominations was for the project that we did right before the Poly Seeds with Terrace Martin. There was an album, My Mom and the Emotions is featured on one of the songs with a gentleman named Uncle Chuck. He's a writer for Snoop and plays with 1500 or Nothing, as well as Mom and Dad and I are on a song together called Turkey Tacos, because that's what Terrace
Come on.
loves to eat from my
Yes.
mom. That's so funny because that's my brother Terrace's favorite food from my mom. So he named the song after what mom
we
makes.
brought him to the studio. Remember, he
There
had.
you. That's right.
Yes, yes. And so that was all at the top of 2016
Yeah.
that we all had recorded that. It was January. And he brought a little mobile setup and was like, look, I just want to get mom and dad involved. So dad is, playing all on there and everything. And mom was singing. I wrote the small amount of words that are on there because it was just supposed to be a funk, just, kind of
Mm-hmm.
parliament,
Mm-hmm.
G
Yeah.
funk, as we
Yeah. Yeah.
as
Yeah.
we 90s babies called the
Come on
70s P
now.
funk.
That's right.
We turned
That's
it into
right.
that OG funk,
That's
I'm
it.
saying. Shout out to Warren G.
I was playing the
Yes.
Warren G this morning, so I got you.
Yes. That's exactly right.
So
So
go ahead.
that particular album, we was just freestyling and just doing music because it felt good. I wrote a song on there for Layla Hathaway that she performed called Oakland. We did all these songs just because they felt good. Kamasi Washington, Terrace Martin, Rose
Mm,
Gold, The Emotions, Wayne Vaughn, a
come on.
bunch of individuals, Tiffany Boucher. And we look up by December of that year and it's Grammy nominated. We were like,
Wow.
excuse
Mm-hmm.
me, is
Mm-hmm.
this how this is gonna go? Oh
Yeah.
whoa. And so that next year, the top of 2017, here I was at my first Grammy appearance ever, and I went
Look at
there.
that.
We were nominated. We lost to Layla, but I was like,
Okay.
I wrote Layla's song on the album, so I guess
There
I'll
you
say it was.
Yeah, exactly.
like
So
like
the
like me and you. Yeah. Yeah.
I promise you, the next nomination was for a rap song with a good friend of mine. Her name is Rhapsody. She's a rapper out of North
Yeah.
Carolina under Ninth
Mm.
Wonder.
Look.
Very
Oh wow.
talented, beautiful woman. And her debut album, she allowed me to co-write on her single, and that happened to get nominated. But we lost to none other than Kendrick Lamar, who was also featured on her album. So I feel like
Right.
we don't lose.
Got
We
you.
all
Got
are
you.
just friends going against each
Right
other
on.
in this, like
Right on.
competitively with a positive spirit though,
Come on.
Yeah.
Come
so
on
it
now.
was so good. But those are
Yeah.
my two
See, back
nominations.
to
Yep.
that positivity. I'm gonna start. It may be one out there already, but I like to say I'm part of the positivity posse. You
Ooh,
dig? It's like whatever.
Ooh.
Can we try to hashtag positivity posse? I don't
I
know, but
like
it's maybe
that.
out there.
That's a gang I can be down with.
like
Gang, gang, gang.
But it's a
That's like,
powerful thing that
yeah.
it's just woven.
woven.
into your family's DNA,
Yeah.
lineage,
Yeah.
life, the positivity of creativity, the
Mm-hmm.
positivity of life. We
Yes.
all go through struggles, man. We
Yeah.
all go through things, but that hits us to the core. And I promise I ain't gonna start crying because you know Uncle Vic will water me. But we make the positivity happen
Yeah.
through the creativity, and that's why I respect your poetry books so much.
Oh,
Thank
The poetry
you.
books, and I think you've written what, two?
yeah.
Two. Yes.
Two.
One is named 13.
13.
The second is 13 Presents Right Out. It's over there. Hold on.
Yeah, you
Look,
got to bring it.
I got to because I know my mom. My
You
mom
do
and Wendy.
wow.
And
Woo!
and
Okay,
and
yes.
go ahead.
And then Wendy is our brander. So if I don't do this, Wendy's
Wendy
gonna
is
get me later.
awesome.
No,
Wendy,
no.
oh.
So there's and Wendy, when you was putting your logo up, I showed Uncle Vic the Raise It Up
Oh,
Y. Raise
exactly.
it
There it
up.
That's
is.
Raise It Up Why.
Yes.
That's
Go
the
Yes.
ahead,
podcast.
Wendy. Look at
Yes.
that.
Wendy is
Uh-huh.
our think tank for knowing how our visibility is supposed to be to the world.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Wendy is very responsible for in
Incredible.
my personal little brand, making sure that I put things tangibly so that people can see them, know that they can have and own them. And it's just, it's one thing to talk about it, another thing to see it, make it real. And
Come on now.
shouts out
That's
to
You know
nice.
my
Bananas.
website?
Look at that.
There you
Oh,
go. There you
And
go. Now,
written
where
by
can we
who?
find it? Where can we buy this online? Oh, look at Wendy.
Where can we
Okay.
find
Wendy
it?
wrote my bio.
Go
Wendy wrote my
ahead.
but you know what, Wanda? So as far as the hard copy books, they can order them directly. They have to get it mailed to them, right?
Yes, I do orders on ynvaughn.com, WYANNVAUGHN.com. And
Okay.
and my team gets the orders to me.
Oh,
It
cool.
has to get to me first because I sign it and I personalize a gift in there when I send it out to you.
Oh,
And after I do that, then you get it as well. So yeah, there's good stuff
Right
going on
Diana,
there
on.
with the
there's
poetry.
one more thing about
Yes.
Amazon, right? It's on.
Mhm.
You can get it the ebook.
And also ebook form. And this time it's really cool because you wouldn't have to wait, and it's something that's mobile. You can take it with you everywhere
Yeah.
you go.
Hmm.
The ebook is on Kindle as well as iBooks and a few other places where you can find ebooks at all, but the most popular of those being Wendy, right? Kindle.
Yeah.
yes.
Amazon's
Yeah.
Kindle would be the most popular and everything. So
Now, you
can
know what?
Kindle on there.
And see, I hope everybody got those. Now, with this, because Wendy has educated me so much. You,
Yeah.
BJ, and my son Benjamin have been my educators on this new format of, because I'm such a dinosaur. I'm still
Oh,
Yeah.
thinking in
So is
tunage.
that.
And
Uncle
I
Vic,
gotta
you're
get,
doing such a good job.
oh, there we go.
well, thank you, girl,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
much. With your mom sitting there,
Mhm.
and with the powerful stories and the powerful insight that Sis Wanda just gave to the world,
Yeah.
what is your what does it do for your soul? What has it done for you as the daughters growing up under this creativity, this musical inspiration?
Adina.
Oh,
Wow.
it. Well, I mean, I think everything I always say, life is a song, and I
Ooh,
really do
nice.
believe that.
Say the second part though. Life is a
Life
song,
is
so
a
what do we have to
song,
live in?
so you
Come
have
on.
to live in tune.
Yeah.
Live in
Hmm.
tune.
Life is song. Life is a song, so you have to live in tune,
Come on.
and that is an important piece to me because everything is creating, even if it's not something that is musical and what people call creative, like art. You're
Yeah.
still creating
Yeah.
your thoughts. You're creating your
Yeah.
experiences and how you
Yeah.
look at things, your perspective, and then I always find a way to make a song about it, like the hear hip
Come on.
kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's my motto.
So you've
Yes.
carried the
So
that
melodic.
positivity of that your mom had mentioned before, of how that enlightened her journey or enlightens her journey. That's what you've taken away.
Yeah.
To add that.
Yeah.
Wyan, what about you?
I add to my mom's stories and legacies and what I've learned from her in the world of performance, in the world of just the history that she drops. Like she just was telling you
Yeah.
all this time about these stories. She's
Hmm.
shared them with me, thankfully, sometimes on the road,
Wow.
sometimes on the pharmacy with Dr. Dre,
Oh
because the
yes,
boys
that's
want to
right.
hear some of this
Hmm.
stuff. And so what I call myself a linker and a brokerer. I'm an actual middle child because, as you know, there's seven of us: Wayne, Wanda, Wayne, Wendy, Wyatt, Whitney, and Warren, right?
Right. That's
And
right.
of the five children, I'm the third. So I'm the true middle child. But even in the world of music, especially what I'm very involved in, which is hip hop,
Yeah.
there's this middle ground now that the Terrace Martins, the J. Coles, the YN Vaughns, the Kendrick Lamars, the Rhapsodies, even, we all possess this middle ground where we are OGs to these younger
There
kids,
you
like
go.
18
There you
and
go.
20 years old. My
Right.
students, ages 18 through 25, we're an OG to them. But at the
Gotcha.
same time, we're definitely young bucks and YGs to the Jay Z's, to the Dr. Dre's, to the
Hmm.
Mommy,
Hmm.
Snoop Dogg,
Yes. But
DJ Quik, Battle
Yeah.
Cat, Ninth
Yeah.
Wonder, and all of the people I just named in particular, because I keep my circle pretty small.
Right
All
on.
the people I named, they're not only hip hop G Funketeers and things like that. They
Hmm.
are master historians of their
There you
music.
go.
yes.
They cite their sources. They give props. Ninth Wonder
Hmm.
and Amir Mom, Questlove, who just shouted my mom out on his. Everybody's doing like Club Quarantine. That's D
Right
Nice,
on.
and he's
Right
from the
on.
top of hip hop and everything.
Hmm.
And so when I was in Club Quarantine the other day, Lionel Richie, everybody from Lionel Richie and Michelle Obama to Gladys Knight and Talib Kweli, who is a rapper that I respect.
That's
All
right.
these people are in there. So
Yeah.
Questlove does his own, and he calls
Yeah.
it shuffle culture. And
Yes.
he's
Oh,
Yeah. I
be
drop
right.
in there. Oh yeah.
Well,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
just yesterday, after an interview that Mom Wendy and I did, I dropped in there just to say, hey, giving you love, and Mom just shouted you out on the radio.
Right.
And he says, "Oh, well, while we have the legendary emotions in here, while we have them in here, let me go on and boy, I called Mom so quick.
Go
Mom,
ahead.
Quest is talking.
Go
He's
ahead.
telling you." And
yes.
boy, she's just a screaming and a hollering and loving it. And then
Oh, I
another
love
hip hop producer calls me Rockwilder, and
Yeah.
he works with Method Man and Redman and
Right.
Christina
Right.
Aguilera. He says, "Hey, where's your mom? And Questlove is shot." I said, "I know, Questlove is shot."
you.
So it just turns
I
into this
love it.
this
I
whole middle
love it.
child thing where I feel
See
like I'm
there?
branching this black music. I tell people,
Yes.
find me another people on earth that
Mhm.
have utilized music to be seen as five-fifths human. Because
Mhm.
if you look at your
Nah.
Black history as a Black
Uh-huh.
American, we were only seen as
Uh-huh.
three-fifths human all the
I can
way
dig it.
back in the days,
Right.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Through utilizing music, Negro spirituals, gospel,
Mm-hmm.
we literally
Mm-hmm.
communicated to one another. We,
There you
as
go.
they call it, slang, or we
Mm-hmm.
might call it ebonics. We were
Mm-hmm.
able to communicate with one another in a
There
way
you go.
that people, if you weren't of the ilk of the culture,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't know what we were
Wouldn't
saying.
know.
But we was
Right.
digging our way into
Yeah.
freedom by
That's
our
right.
music.
That's right. Because remember, and what you said is so right. And historically, which we can think about it in essence of the day, because during that time you're talking about, we couldn't
Yeah.
gather together too much. We had our own quarantine
Yeah.
historically. But when
Hello.
that rhythm would come out, when we heard
Woo.
something from this side of
Mhm.
the land
Mhm.
to the other side, like you said, we understood each other. And I think
Yes.
with what you're doing and the other people you mentioned in the music industry today, it
Mhm.
kind of rubs me wrong when I hear people say, "Oh, there's no good music nowadays." Oh, there's no. Yes, there
There is.
is.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
so many
Mhm.
respected musicians and
Yes.
artists out here, and the
Yeah.
ones you just mentioned are some of my favorites who I give respect to. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and mad props to you for being a part of that integral movement, is what I want to call it. You know, that
Absolutely.
education of what we all need right now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I want to talk about, should I say the new emotions or should I just say the emotions? Because I know y'all been hitting the
Emotions 20
road. What is it like performing with your mama? What tell me about that?
for a year.
Yeah, but that's when it started. You always go from the beginning because it is
Okay.
to have you're there with them, so they'll know what year it is then. But Emotions 2020 is when it started,
Right.
and then
Uh-huh.
well, not really because YN was in before.
Right.
Yeah.
And Wendy started last year.
for 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, second year now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we were in New York when she started. It was on Valentine's Day 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And just now, Valentine's Day in February this year, we
Yep.
were there at the Beacon
in New York.
in Manhattan.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
calls from it. It's weird. It's wild because when you were in DC, I got, hey man, they just killed it, man. Oh my God, that show was out of sight. New York, oh man, they still got it. That Wanda just threw that. Them
Oh,
girls, oh my Lord. And this is male and female. I mean,
oh,
Yep.
baby.
the range, and see the thing about it is the range of age
Yeah.
that is
Yes.
still, how does that,
Yes.
how do you feel when you hit the stage with your mama, girls?
Oh, I told them to stop moving so fast so it won't look like I'm moving slow.
Oh, Uncle Vic.
But you
Now,
know
Uncle
what I
Vic,
do? I trip
okay.
about and do that, like we used
Yeah.
to do
No.
back in the day,
I feel like we,
that
Wendy
tremble.
and YN, bring out the 78 Wanda, the
Yes,
77 Wanda, the Wanda
Okay,
from
okay.
from
they
79.
do.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I remember on that last show, Wendy, was it the last show at the beginning?
Well,
The
yeah.
wasn't it?
Yes, at the
Am I
Yeah.
right?
beginning.
That was
Yes,
So that
yeah.
second show on Boogie, right? On Boogie Wonderland.
on Boogie
Yes.
Wonderland.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Uncle Vic, that second show, and Robert G is on this live, so he can
You're right.
Right
attest
on,
to what
right
I'm
on.
talking about.
Yeah.
When my mom, she was just, we had a couple shows that were like they was getting a couple pieces right, and every show was getting better and better and better. So when we got to that last show, it was almost like we about to just give it all the way. We gonna
Come
do the
on.
whole thing. Mom was feeling so good.
I went out on the apron.
She went out on the apron, right in stage,
Wow.
upstage and in the front.
Yes.
And so we're
Yes.
doing all of our moves, and she
They came
hits the moves like pristine. And right at the
Ah,
end of them,
right
she give him
on.
a little freak. She give him just a little freak, just a little freak. Oh my
back.
gosh, Uncle Vic, they screamed. They
Yes.
screamed. I'm not
Man.
lying. It's crazy.
Yes. We were like,
Then I started
Wendy,
walking
you,
like Maurice, you know.
yep, yes, whoop,
Yeah, yeah, the little man. Right.
listen. A little extra gas in the tank. You understand me?
Oh man.
I said that was one of my favorite moments since it's been the two daughters and mom. That's
Yeah,
been one of my favorite moments where
See there.
she looked back at us and boy, she just laughed and then she just hit some. I said,
yeah.
she hit that
well,
Go
hell.
ahead,
Then we went,
Mama.
I've been rolling when I start to think you Wonderland. Boy, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mom
and you know
did
what?
that.
And your shows are, and the people, they're singing it right back to you with
Oh yeah.
all of their love. You know what I mean? When
Oh
when
yeah,
the
they were.
crowd hits you back on that
They were.
Oh
And
yeah.
then we had a
747 and
guy,
Wonderland. You know.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep. Yep.
that got married. That he asked the girl to marry her on Best of My Love. He's this guy, this
Whoa!
Who that guy was?
Wow!
diamond ring. He must have had some money.
Oh.
But anyway, and the girl came. She said he asked me to marry him right when you were singing "Best of My Love."
Oh
That was so.
man,
Oh, yeah.
man! You know what?
We have a comment from one of our sisters, or from
From
our.
Hey
Dirty Sis Whitney.
Whitney, mommy
She
buck
say,
wild.
"Mommy Buck's wild." Now Whitney's the worst
Love you,
influence on my
girl.
mom. Uncle Vic, let me reassure you. Whitney during some LA shows, she done whispered in the back, "Mom, hit that C-walk, hit that C-walk," and Mom would be out there like, "Oh, oh," and
Oh,
here
she
she
go
is.
for
I'm
it.
sitting here like, "Mom,"
Oh yeah. And I know when Snoop Dogg told people to stop doing his seawalk,
and
but he wasn't.
Snoop liked it when you did it. I'll tell you that.
He liked when I did it.
You know what?
He
We
did
just
like
got
when
a
you did
thing
it.
in from. We just got a text in from Deborah Alston Morrison. Deborah said,
Yeah, Deborah.
I get as close to the stage as I can get every time. Capital letters, all
Yep,
and
she
that's just
sure does.
that feeling, you know.
She
Yeah.
So
sure
I
does.
know that you know me. I'm an ambivert. I came to that reality a few years ago. You know, I'm not extremely an introvert, and I'm not
Extrovert,
extremely
but
an extrovert. But
yeah.
I'll get into my feelings, and I'm an ambivert, and I'll get ghost for a minute. That's just real, you know. And that's and an artist on top of it.
Oh yeah.
But
Hello.
I
Oh,
can
you're right.
say
Oh,
I know how it feels when people ask me what I'm about to ask y'all.
that's right.
It's like, would you mind giving us some kind of vocal something on the cuff? If not, no problem.
Oh,
Why?
I have to come in there when I have to come
Yeah.
in there, or
Oh,
else
because
Just,
I won't be
just
in sync.
mute. Or I can mute you.
okay.
Oh Lord, y'all, they about to give us a treat.
Which one?
Come
They
on
about
in.
to-
Come on in here.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah, you come in here, then it'll have it the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, Wendy hooked this whole video thing up.
Yes.
I was not hip. Yesterday I was sweating both. I said, Lord, how am I going? Because I knew it was good. But thank you so much, Wendy.
You are so
You're
welcome.
welcome. Okay.
Got it right
Okay.
here.
The technology of it, I love it. You know what, y'all? We got YN on the left of your screen.
Love. I don't want to lose your love. Come on and say that you will. I'll be there to fulfill. I don't want to lose your love. I don't want to lose your love. I think you need my love. You can't defeat my love. You won't believe my love. I don't want to lose your love. Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I mean,
No, you good, Wyatt.
now, y'all, for those who don't know, that's called singing. That's called flat foot singing. Just doing it, you know? Well, y'all, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you. Much
I
respect
love
to you
you.
all. Give my brother Wayne my love, and,
Will do.
you know, thank you.
One day we gonna
Yeah.
still do that song me and you supposed to do.
I know we gotta do it.
Oh yeah, she is
We
on
gotta do it.
there.
Oh wait, no, Uncle Vic, you also are my first
All right, y'all.
feature on my
Much
album.
love. Thank you for,
Much
for
love.
joining
Love
us
you
today
so
on the
much.
We love you. We
Victor
love you.
Brooks
We love
Love
Show,
you.
and
you. Bye.
we
Thank
love
you,
you. We'll be back.
everybody.
Bye. You got the best of me.